Picking up with Benjamin Franklin. Franklin has, at the Franklin Institute rather, they have a diorama, which is like a model of the set where you can see Franklin with the kite, and he also has the young boy there holding the kite. And it's very entertaining that you can mash a button and a spark of electricity flies across the diorama set, landing onto the kite, running down the kite string to the little boy in the set, and the little boy jumps every time the electricity hits him, and children yell with delight, and as well as adults do, in seeing this scene go. It was done obviously before a lot of the OSHA regulations. It's very primitive. It's back actually from the 50s, and it's surprising they still let it be on exhibit, but it's quite something to see. So if you get a chance to go up there to see it, I suggest that you do. Nonetheless, Franklin does a lot of different things, but one of the big things he does is work with electricity. And in doing this, he looks at this rubbing business, and he notices that if we take a rubber rod and rub it with animal fur, he sees that it gets a negative charge. A negative charge. But if you take the same the fur, if you will, is acquiring a positive charge. So again, the rubber rod in the animal fur, the rod is getting a negative charge, but the fur is getting a positive charge. Then Franklin notices if you take a glass rod and rub it in a piece of silk. Now remember, silk is made by the silkworms. Okay, so again, another animal product. That the rod this time is going to get a positive charge, but the silk will get a negative charge. Okay, so the animal product this time is getting the negative charge, and the rod, the glass rod, is getting the positive charge. Okay, so in looking at this, he would say then two rubber rods would repel each other, but a rubber rod and a glass rod would attract each other. Okay, no new charge is created. The charge instead is just separated. The positive charge acquired by one object is equal in magnitude. Now remember, magnitude is one of those $5 words. It means size, but it's opposite in sign to the charge lost by the other object. Now, sign in terms of electrostatics is basically direction. Just like we had in motion, north, south, east, and west, your direction here is going to be positive and negative. Just simply positive and negative. So, equal in magnitude, equal in size, but opposite in sign. Taking it back to what we've talked about with cars in motion, it would be like saying equal in speed, 55 miles per hour, but opposites in directions, east and west. So one car is going 55 miles per hour east, while the other car is going 55 miles per hour west. This is saying one rod would be one positive, while the other rod is going to be one negative. Okay? So equal in magnitude, but opposite in sign. Now you've got a challenge problem here to try. A neutral plastic rod is rubbed by a piece of animal fur. Describe the charge on each of them. Will both items be neutral? Will the fur and the rod both have a negative net charge? Will the rod have a negative net charge and the fur have a positive net charge? will the rod have a positive net charge and the fur have a negative net charge? Or do you need help? Take a moment, pause this video, Did you pick answer C? Answer C was the rod will have a negative charge and the fur will have a positive charge. A neutral plastic rod is rubbed by a piece of animal fur. The rod will have a negative charge while the fur will have a positive charge. Rod will be negative, fur will be positive. Answer choice C. Good job. Let's take a look at number 2. A positively charged object is moved towards a negatively charged object. What is the motion of the object when they come close to each other? A. Neither object has any effect on the other. B. The objects move away from each other. C. The objects move towards each other. Or D. You need help. So again, a positively charged object is moved towards a negatively charged object. Are they going to have no effect on each other, move away from each other, move towards each other, or you need a little more help? Pause this video. Did you pick answer choice C? The objects move towards each other. Remember the phrase, opposites attract. So in doing that, the positive will move towards the negative. Good job. Let's move to number 3. A neutral glass rod is rubbed by a piece of silk with no net charge. The rod gains a positive net charge and the silk gains a net negative charge. What is the sum of the charges on the silk and the rod? Now remember, sum means to add up the charges. So the rod gains a positive, the silk gains a negative. So what is the sum when you add those up? Is it A, 0, B, twice the charge on the rod, C, twice the charge on the silk, D, 1/2 of the charge on the rod, or E, you need some help? Well, let's take a look at working this one together, shall we? In doing this one, to be prepared here with it, they both start out as neutral. So they both start out at 0. Okay. And then it says the rod gains a positive. So it's going to be a +1. The silk gains a negative. That's going to be a -1. And we want to know the sum. So 1 minus 1 will be a total of, that's right, 0. So our answer choice here must be, you got it right, 0. Good job. All right, we're going to stop this section of the video now before we go into our next part of it on atomic structure and source of charge. Take a moment, take a break, and we'll go to the next section for the next video.